I want to keep my heart open to Jesus.
Out of the mouths of babes, the gospel.
Christ loved you enough to give his life for you.
Kid preachers come in all shapes and sizes.
Today I'm going to preach about how to be Christian. Don't pass that pussy in my day.
Girls and boys.
Glory. Amen.
Toddlers and teens. It's not a new phenomenon. Long before you could call them up on YouTube, children were preaching, often to tents packed with adoring adults. But sometimes when the kids grew up, they had troubling things to say.
Let me introduce to you little Marjo. Howdy, neighbors. May the Lord bless you.
Like Marjo Gortner, who was ordained at 4. In 1972, Marjo looked back on his childhood in this documentary.
The whole thing, money, from the time I was 4 years, I really supported them, when I was a child.
Few modern-day child preachers have garnered the attention Terry Durham has. He's been in newspapers across the country. It even appeared live on the Today Show.
When did you realize you had a gift to be able to preach?
When I was 4 years old.
When you were 4 years old.
Oh, you can do it as if God.
So we wanted to see what Terry Durham's ministry was all about. Terry, who's now 11, was ordained at 6. He says he's a prophet in the tradition of Jesus and believes he can heal the sick. Terry's grandmother, Sharon Monroe, is also a preacher at her own non-denominational church. Does he have the power to heal?
Yes, he does. I've been on the road with him going on 3 years. I've seen people come in wheelchairs and walk. I've seen people come in a cane and put the cane down. I have seen so many miracles.
We were unable to confirm any medical miracles, but that does not dampen his grandmother's enthusiasm.
I truly believe that Terry Durham is one that was chosen by God to let the world know that the Spirit still lives.
It started here at Grandma Monroe's storefront church, wedged into a Fort Lauderdale mall between a pawn shop and a 7-Eleven. That's Terry's twin brother Todd on the drums.
How did you make the decision to have him ordained? Because that sets some people's teeth on edge.
It was several other preachers that came to the church, and we all watched him, and we gave him a trial sermon.
He's 6 years old.
And he did his sermon, and when we seen him, we all signed his license that he's ready to go. He is a chosen vessel of God.
We asked Reverend Randall Balmer, an ordained Episcopal minister and professor of religion, to look at videos of Terry preaching.
If he truly sees himself as a prophet, I would look for something deeper and more profound, maybe even something new. What I see instead is somebody who is mimicking a particular style of preaching.
Reverend Balmer may not think much of Terry as a minister, but there are plenty of people who do. Over the last few years, Terry has preached in 37 states and 5 countries.
Minister Terry Durham!
The fish.
His father, Todd Durham Sr., sees Terry as a gold mine.
I see Terry Durham as a major icon for the Christian industry.
In the mighty name of Jesus.
Todd Sr., who works as a night security guard, is the marketer-promoter of the Terry Durham ministry.
Jesus is the product. I've looked up Joel Osteen. Joel is at 76 million a year. One day I'm hoping Terry will be at about 86 million. So, ministries are profiting these days. Everyone's buying into this.
$86 million? Well, the marketing has already begun. Sermons are for sale along with T-shirts, DVDs, even pin-up photos.
Hey, but don't forget they have CDs and DVDs on sale.
Following this sermon in Miami, congregants came forward with cash.
Oh, yes.
According to Todd Sr., on this day, The offering was a couple of $1,000s.
So it's donations. People give
Yeah,
donations.
they'll give him a donation. And a lot of time when Terry is up speaking, people walk up and throw money at his feet anyway.
It can be a lot of money. Todd says some churches give up to $5,000 for a big event.
That covers marketing, that covers the cars, his transportation services, hotel lodging fees, expenses for him when he's on the airplane, when he's in the city, maybe he want to shop.
There may be some people, though, listening to you talk who are a little worried about whether or not Terry is benefiting from all of his hard work.
Mm-hmm. He is benefiting from all of his hard work.
So you have a special bank account.
Yes.
For him.
Yes.
So that if he wants to go to college someday.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. It goes towards his trust fund, him and his brother's trust fund.
The family declined to tell us how much money the ministry has made to date. And though they say they have a trust fund for the boys, the state of Florida does not require one for working children.
You don't worry that these kids are working too hard?
No, because I feel like if he do, Terry will come to me.
Well, but you're the grown-up. He's
no,
the kid.
But no. He's not a pushover kid, and if it's something too hard for him, he'll say, no, grandmama. And he trusts me. If he says no, I'm going to accept no.
Perhaps, but would Terry actually dare say no? We got an insight into how much he wants to please later that day.
So what are you going to be when you get older? A preacher?
Yes, I'm going to be a preacher to the day that I die.
That was in front of Grandma. But moments earlier, alone with my producer, this is what he said.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A pediatrician.
Really? You want to be a doctor?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Terry preaches. According to his father, he receives 20 invitations to speak a month.
When the summertime comes and he has no school, we run the big Terry Durham tour. That's what it's labeled as and it's called. And sometimes he won't even come home.
So in the course of a week, he might do, what, 14, 15, 16 services?
14, 15, 16 services.
If I were facing a schedule like that, I think burnout would be a real issue. The circumstances here are set up so that this element of exploitation, this element of show business really rises to the surface.
When you say exploitation, what do you mean?
I have to wonder if there are other elements and other motivations at play here as well on the part of those who are managing him.
Like?
Money.
And we discovered last week that the two adults managing Terry's money have criminal records. Since Terry was born, his father, Todd, has been convicted on weapons charges and has served nearly 3 years in prison for drug charges. We called him last week to ask about that.
What kind of role model is that for the kids?
It's been a great role model. If my children can see that I had a little bumps and bruises in my past and I overcame them, that signifies, hope, change, so.
But shockingly, Terry's grandmother also has a criminal record. In 2000, at the time Sharon Monroe told us she was preaching with Terry in her arms, court documents show she was convicted for grand theft and organized fraud in conjunction with a phony sweepstakes operation targeting the elderly. She served 3 years probation.
That was a job that I was working on. I did not know that these people, what they was doing.
They were, in fact, stealing from the elderly, is that correct?
But I was telling that was a job that I was working on. I did not know that job was illegal.
But nevertheless, you were convicted of fraud and grand theft.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, Cynthia. I don't know nothing about all of that.
Oh, I wish I had a witness.
Of course, nothing his father or grandmother has done calls into question Terry's own sincerity in preaching the gospel. On the whole, Terry seems like a great kid and talented. Perhaps one day he will be a preaching doctor, old enough to decide for himself what direction his life will take.